Good morning or evening, whenever you're watching this video. I am basically doing a little pop-in live, which I promised that I would do on Sunday. So my goal this week is just to be answering some questions you might have and essentially providing some free business coaching and some supervision around client cases that might be a little challenging for you. So before we get started, I want to see that you guys see my special guest. This is Max. I am babysitting today. It's my in-laws doggy, and we are just hanging out. And he is the best. He would be a really great therapy dog. But I don't get to keep him all the time with me. So unfortunately, we get him for the next couple days, and that'll be nice. So I'm just going to hang out here for a couple minutes or a minute or so. If anybody has any questions or wants, again, some free supervision. And if we don't have anybody show up, no big deal. I will just chat a few minutes about, I kind of have a topic in mind if we need it, and I'll do that. So let's just hang out here a minute or two, and then I will jump into a topic unless anybody has a question. And I do plan to do this again. Let's see what my time looks like. Let's look at my schedule real quick. I am thinking that maybe maybe around 1:15 I might pop in again tomorrow, Wednesday. That's the 5th. And I'll actually be driving, but I have a hands-free thing so I can talk to you all and answer questions if you'd like. All right, so if you are wondering about, I'm really curious. So this is the beginning of the year when I'm doing this video, but I think we can always reassess what's working and what's not working in our practices at any time. I regularly try to do a little check-in, at least a minimal basic one, at least once a month, about what's working, what's not. But I really take at least twice a year to kind of like, okay, what am I enjoying doing? What feels good? What needs to shift? And so if you're watching this and you're at the very beginning of your non-diet counseling skills training or your business, or you're in some kind of transition, or if you're in transition in your skill level, maybe you're going from like, I was a beginner like 6 months ago or a year ago, and I'm starting to get more complex cases. What I always want you to think about, and I promise this week would be about simplicity. So always go back to your foundation. Always go back to what, let's say with client cases, I see a person watching live, so if you have any questions, I'm doing free supervision for the next couple minutes. If you have a question or concern, please let me have it, and I'd be happy to answer your question. If not, I'm just going to talk about simplicity here real briefly. So for simplicity's sake, if you are bumped up against a client and things are challenging, I want you to kind of always go back to where you see the barrier is. All right, so I always think, is there a barrier in a client's clarity about what they need to do? For example, I have a client that I'm working with. She's been in recovery. She's got complex trauma, some sensory processing issues too. And I'm noticing in the cycle of how she works is that she really, her attachment needs are just really just a strong deficit. And unless she has people that are there frequently, she will do what needs to be done, if that makes sense, with meal plans and journaling and the whole nine, going to appointments. But for her, what I notice, so she, with clarity, unless there's something there that she knows is there for her, she loses her clarity about what she needs to do. And then she doesn't respond to what she needs to do. It's almost like, if you're there with me, for me, okay, I'll do it. Because I feel like that there's just, that's where her security is missing, essentially. And so I always kind of have to go back to not getting too fancy with her, because if she can feel that I'm there in some kind of way, whether that's just in my presence in the sessions, or she happens to do texting sessions with me as well. You know, it's just, I don't have to respond to everything. As long as I can send a little emoji or something back to her, that feeds her attachment system. I don't need to do fancier things with her right now. Really what we need to do is make sure her food is solid, to make sure she doesn't have any physiologic side effects, and to keep juicing up that attachment system. That's my job right now, more so than doing any more complex body image work or decoding. It's a, you know, simplicity's sake, what's happening in her attachment system. That's what we want to focus on. So do your clients have clarity about what their needs are? If not, that's where you got to work from. If they can't yield enough, slow down enough to know what their needs are, we need to work on the yield, which is slowing them down, getting perspective, seeing the big picture, because they're going to be habitually doing what they always do. Response, maybe they know what they want, but they're not able to reach for it for whatever reason, whether it's worth issues or feeling they'll get in trouble or what do people think. Or again, maybe there's a problem in the yield again. They can't relax and slow down enough to know, to remember to reach. Maybe that's the issue. Or satisfaction. Do they have a nourishment barrier, which is, I know what I want, but having needs feels really vulnerable or weak. I don't want to do it. And so that's the barrier we're working on. So I want you to think about really simplifying it this week with your clients. And if you're noticing like, oh, we keep talking about the same body image thing over and over and over again, okay, so where are they stuck? You know, what is the barrier? And again, this is something I'm going to be talking about really here briefly, not briefly, but here shortly in the 4th week of our somatic counseling skills course. But just in general, to remember that they can have one or all of these different barriers, and you can't do them all at the same time. But something you can always, you can never go wrong with is helping people slow down. So I hope this quick little tip helped you. I'm going to try to pop again in tomorrow, a little after 1 p.m.-ish Eastern, to give you a chance to get some free supervision again. And I will see you all next time. Bye for now.